Who are you and why should I give a That's a question everybody's asking themselves on an ongoing basis in perpetuity and will continue to ask until the end of time. Within the confines of all things entrepreneurship, it just became the most important question. It used to be that the product, the service, the fulfillment, the output, those things were of critical importance. We'd say that they were at the top of the hierarchy, right? They're at the apex. The issue now has become that with everything being completely automated, AI eating all fulfillment, and the ability for people to begin to reverse engineer what works, it's almost impossible to hold secret sauce. So what do you have left? You. The differentiator is you. And if you don't want to play founder first, that's okay, but guess what? Your competitor does. I promise you. So the new world of entrepreneurship is going to be a founder first world. It means that you need to get out there, you need to talk, you need to speak, and you don't have to do that in a way that challenges your comfort zone beyond what you're capable of, right? So if you're like, dude, I would piss myself to be on stage, fine, start a podcast, right? Shoot YouTube videos. Do whatever is immediately accessible to you. You can even do some of the faceless things. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that on a long enough timeline, but if it lets you dip your toe into the water of content creation and thought leadership, then at least you're moving forward in that direction. But the truth is if you're not willing to put yourself out there, if you're not willing to lead, if you're not willing to create content that lets people know who you are and why they should trust you, you're gonna be in an environment where the only commodity that is of any value and isn't immediately accessible to all your competitors is trust. Because that's what this is, right? Creating content, establishing thought leadership, building an audience, it comes down to the most valuable currency in the economic world, which is trust. If you really think about what currency is, the dollar is trust, right? When somebody gives you $1 in exchange for whatever it is, insert commodity here, they're handing you a piece of paper, a literal worthless piece of paper. But you have trust in the paper, and you have trust in the paper because of who backs it. And there's a whole conversation we can have about how evil the central bank is and how the dollar is actually worthless and should collapse. But that'll kill my analogy. So let's just stick with where we are right now. Trust is at the absolute center of all economic mechanisms. The economy requires trust. And our trust has actually already been purchased in the fulfillment, the operation, the marketing, the sales, the guarantees. We have trust in most facets of every business, which, to be frank, is a beautiful thing. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that somebody can say 30-day guarantee on their website and nobody questions it any longer. That wasn't true 20 years ago. But we've put ourselves in a position with, merchant processing requirements, FTC requirements, SEC requirements, where people actually have to uphold that. And we have the judiciary necessary to protect us. So trust has been flattened because we are so safe in the environment that we're in. The only place, and maybe not the only place, but I'd say the strongest place that trust still needs to be built is interpersonal. It's you. And if you're not willing to put yourself out there so people can learn who you are, get to know more about you, understand how you think, decide whether or not they resonate with you, then you're going to be at a massive, massive, massive disadvantage. Every business in the future is going to be founder first. Look at what's happening on the larger scale. Ryan Reynolds is selling cell phone connectivity, and George Clooney's selling gin, and The Rock is selling frickin' everything. The minute you have a brand, the minute you've built the trust, you now get to expand yourself into literally any level of analysis that you choose. So the trust and the brand are going to come first. It used to be that the service or the product came first, right? It's like, oh, I've got a great salsa. Now how do I get people to trust this? Well, we've put ourselves in a position where trust is such a valuable commodity that the great entrepreneurs of the world have realized, well, gosh, if I start with trust and then I can go get Joe Rogan to start eating my salsa, everybody's going to eat that salsa. I think Jocko Willink did something like $3 to $5 million in gross revenue selling white tea. You start with trust. You start founder first. You start creating content. And that, by the way, is the key. It sounds like such a throwaway phrase. Everybody's like, oh, you got to get out and create content. How else do you do it? What else is there in order to put you in a position with potential followers and audience members that would give them the opportunity to decide whether or not they trust you? And here's the real key. And I'm not telling you I'm good at this, by the way, but this is what I've seen that works. And I've studied this more than most. I spent $100 million a year in Google Ads on behalf of hundreds and thousands of brands. So I've seen more traffic than most people will ever be exposed to. You need to attract people, obviously, but more important than that, you need to repel. You need to repel. And the more repulsive you are, and there are some names that might come to mind, right? Andrew Tate, Grant Cardone. The more repulsive you are, the more attractive you become to the right audience. Donald Trump. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not telling you one direction or the other. But if you're sitting there trying to sit on the fence and, be Mr. Rogers and be everybody's friend, best of luck to you. It's not going to work. attract and repel. And incidentally, you don't need to go out of your way to be a douchebag. Just be yourself. I promise you, you're repulsive enough as you are, right? Just be authentic, be vulnerable, be who you are. And there are going to be enough people on the internet that's like, I don't like that guy's hair. He's got fat face. Why is like it's going to happen naturally. But lean into it, because the more you soften those things that are repulsive about you, the more vanilla you become. So you're going to be attractive to a group of people. You're going to be repulsive to a group of people, and putting yourself in a position where you can be authentic enough to where both of those things end up being true, because you don't want to do it artificially, right? You want the people that are attracted to you to be really attracted to who you are, what you're saying, to resonate with who you are. And the people that are repulsed by you, you want that to be real too. You don't want to just generate that because you get the buzz or you feel like that's going to offer you the visibility that would be necessary. You know, that whole, there's no such thing as bad press. You have to be founder first. You have to create content. You have to put yourself out there. You have to take a stance. You have to have an opinion. You have to be willing to be wrong. I've been wrong about so much shit, and I get yelled at all the time. I published something recently. It was Google's 7-11-4 study. There's a book called Oversubscribed. I think the dude's name is James Priestley. And in the book, he talks about Google's 7-11-4 study, which says something to the effect of people have to be exposed to 7 hours of content across 11 touch points in 4 mediums. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. So I wrote a whole long article about it on Medium. And some lady nailed me to the wall because she said that there's no citation for this at all in Priestley Effective. I don't know if he made it up or if he was lied to or what, but I went and checked and she was absolutely right. So I ended up pulling without checking source citations, which is, you know, journalistic faux pas. I'm not a journalist. And somebody online really disliked me for it. And it's just what it is. Like, what am I going to do? Stop creating content? Now, I think maybe I could learn from that, be a little more responsible, maybe apologize to the Medium Karen, whoever it was that wrote that article about me. But I can't put myself in a position where I stop doing exactly what this is, because this is relationship building, right? Like, in a really weird way, and I'm going to use a word that I hate, this is relationship building at scale, which interestingly is why it costs me so much, right? That which scales is instantly commoditized. And so it's so funny in so many ways when I see people gate content. I think it's insane. The day of the infomarketer gating content is over. It has to be. Why on earth would you charge somebody to be indoctrinated to your message? Here, give me money and then you can watch hours of me, right? See my face, hear my voice, learn what it is that I'm trying to offer. So I think the info space is going to see, to be frank, I think the bubble's already popped. I know some of the biggest info marketers in the world, and I can tell you that they're looking for alternatives to info. It's going to become info and community, info and service. In some instances, it can be info and software, but I feel like even that's going to start to flatten. But if you feel like watching you is a privilege, you need to flip your paradigm. People's attention is the least scalable thing in the world. It's one of the most valuable resources that they have. And if somebody's offering that to you on a silver platter, I would beg you to lift the barriers, lift the veil, just give it to them. And all the best entrepreneurs in the world are doing that right now. They're charging for nothing from an info perspective because it allows them to earn your trust.